In the UK, tap water is a norm, complete norm. 95% of people in the UK drink tap water. Hello guys and welcome to Epic Tube Moments. My name is Fred and I'm your usual anchor here. I just want to start this video today by appreciating a lot of you guys that have subscribed to the channel. See, you guys have actually just melted my if I was a girl now, I'd just be crying like that. But this is so amazing, guys. I just really feel that you guys love what we're doing here. That's why a lot of you have subscribed and that's so awesome. If you're new here and you like what we're doing, we just want to urge you, please subscribe to the channel, leave a comment and also share our videos so that a lot of people can get to see what we're doing. So we truly appreciate you. So today's topic is something that is very interesting, something very simple yet very interesting, okay? I just want to do a short video so that we can have fun, understand a lot of things in the UK and also just relates to, to where we're coming from, wherever we're coming from. But in this case, we're coming from Africa. How we saw the UK and how we are seeing the UK right now, okay? And also this video should be to those of us who have not traveled out, we're still back home and you have plans coming to the UK. This video is also for you, just to let you know what you'll be facing or what you'll be facing when you get to the UK. So the topic today is very simple: 7 culture shocks in the UK. So let's get into it. Good. So for me, my number 1 culture shock, I really don't know about you guys, but first, before I start, I'll just want you guys to just take a look at some of those culture shocks. Some of you are still experiencing the culture shocks right now. Some of those culture shocks that have actually just baited your life since you got to the UK. Just reflect through before we actually start mine, because this is my own culture shock. I don't know how it is for you guys, okay? So my first culture shock would be the weather. When I landed at Heathrow, actually I came to the UK at the peak of winter. I came in January, okay? So when I landed at Heathrow Airport, and I was just trying to go out to get a taxi or a cab, oh Lord, the breeze that hit me, that was when I knew I was really far from home. Because you know what happens? The culture difference actually shows up when you are farther away from home. So the farther away you are from your home or your homeland or where you're used to, the more the difference. The closer you are to, your familiar environment or your homeland, the similar the culture. So when I came out and I felt that, because I've never been used to low temperatures like that. My whole life, I've never been used to low temperatures. When I felt that, I knew I was far from home. The cold was so strong. The temperature was very low. Okay, like I said, it was at the peak of winter. So for me, coming to the UK, that was actually my first culture shock. I don't know what your first culture shock was, but this definitely was my first culture shock, because it was just there. See me, see UK, see Heathrow. It doesn't come out now, just culture shock. That's my first culture shock. My second culture shock, which will be something you guys will relate to, would be drinking tap water. I'm telling you guys, back home, tap water is a no-no. We don't drink tap water back home. This, you already know the reason. You already know why. We don't drink tap water back home. We are used to sachet water. We are used to bottled water. That's what we're used to back home, okay? And for so many reasons that I don't really want to mention here. In the UK, tap water is a norm, complete norm. 95% of people in the UK drink tap water. I don't know if it's not really close to 100%, because it is safe to drink tap water. But when I came to the UK, that was actually my number 2 cultural shock. Like, I was like, people drink from the tap? Is it safe? That was actually the mentality. But now I can see it's very safe that everybody drinks. Sometimes some people still want to boil it, they boil it, and some just keep it in their fridge and all that, just for, safety measure. But the tap water in the UK is very safe, and that is what a lot of people take directly from the tap, and it's safe, completely safe, okay? My culture shock number 3. Hope you guys are leaving your culture shocks in the comment section. Please leave so that we'll get to see that. This is my culture shock. I don't know about you. Some of you have your own different culture shock, completely different from mine. So my culture shock number 3 would be the mandatory use of Google Maps and sat-navs. You can't do anything in the UK without, you can't get to where you want to go to swiftly, feasibly, and very, very safely without your Google Map. If you don't have a Google Map, even if you've been to such places before, Sometimes the road can be blocked. That's if you have a sat nav like in your car, or still using your Google map in your car. Sometimes some roads are blocked, okay, because maybe there's an event happening. Your Google Maps now gives you a guide towards different routes, shorter routes, or maybe longer routes because you're trying to divert and all that. So the Google Map is just your safest guide. In back home, you could actually just ask one at Bookie when you're on the road and say, guy, they go number 57, they can Kigo Road. Is it up Kigo Road or down Kigo Road? They say it's down Kigo. Well, you don't pass and up you did, you just need to turn. It was very difficult, okay? But we could still, we could still just strive through that when we're back home. It was very, very easy to move around back home. And we never felt it to be anything because you can actually take a bus, drop somewhere, and someone can actually guide you if you've lost your way and all that. In the UK, it is not so because a lot of people do not care in the UK. People just mind their business. You see people just walking straight faced. Nobody cares about the next person by you. So you wouldn't, though when you stop someone to ask, okay, please, I'm just looking for this postcode, or I'm looking for this flat, they might want to, but a lot of people are just too straight-faced and you wouldn't want to bother anyone. So Google Maps and SatNavs are just your best guide. So for me, that was a culture shock that my whole life, my whole travel, my whole, moving around the UK depends on having Google Map. And if you're driving, SatNav is your best guide. That was a culture shock, and it's still a culture shock for me today because I'm still very young in the UK. Okay, so culture shock number 4, guys. I hope you guys are living your culture shock. Like, I just want to see your culture shock. It will just make me understand that I'm not just being paranoid. Like, I just want to understand what's happening. Culture shock number 4 would be law enforcement. Okay, law enforcement. In the UK, compared to back home, the law enforcement in the UK is so complied with to the teeth. So if you go out of the law, you will be dealt with. Okay, you would be arrested and the court will prosecute you. Depending on the level of the offense that you've committed, you would actually face it squarely. Compared to back home where you could actually call a friend, you could call a brother, you could call someone in the House of Senate, and they'll just bail you out. In the UK, the law is being enforced to the teeth. You will not play. So if you're coming from wherever you're coming to the UK, just know that the law is being enforced. Like, there are no double standards. Like, it's very, very enforced. I wouldn't want to go into demography where someone will say, if you're like this, they'll probably take it more seriously than when you're like this. I don't know if you understand what I mean. I don't want to go into that, but the law is still enforced. You could be of this demography and something happens to you against the other demography, and you could still get help from the police or from the law. So it's still very, very a shock to me that in the UK you can't boycott the process. Okay, the process of the law in the UK is very, very effective as compared to back home. So that is a culture shock for me. Just like I said, if you're in the UK and anything happens, you just know if it's in your favor, you are going to get help. If it's not in your favor, you will still, be in that position where you need to explain the law and you would actually face the law squarely. So that is a culture shock because, obviously we're not used to that. You could do a lot of things back home and you still get away with it, like completely 100% get away with it. Okay, so for me, that's culture shock number 4. So culture shock number 5 for me would be the cutscene of telling the bus driver, thank you. A lot of people are just looking at me. So if you're back home, if you've not been to the UK, you truly don't understand what I'm saying. In the UK, we tell our bus drivers thank you before we go down. It's not like a law. It's not compulsory, but it's the culture. And that's why it's a shock. It's the culture. A lot of people in the UK have that practice of appreciating the drivers. So when you are also in the bus and you just go out without saying a thank you to the driver, it feels rude. Sometimes really feels rude. So even a lot of people, some people actually forget and they go out. Like, it's not like a law, just like I said, but you want to appreciate these drivers. Why would you want to appreciate these drivers? See, the drivers of these buses in the UK are very scarce, and that's why you get to see smilers advert. They call it smilers advert on buses all the time because they want drivers. Okay, so because the drivers in the UK are very, very scarce, we tend to appreciate the few ones we have. It's not a simple job. Driving these buses is actually something very, very tedious, something very, very hard. So most times the residents of the UK try to show appreciation to drivers. Think of when you stand at a bus station and you're waiting for a bus and it takes a very long time for you to have one because you don't know what's happening or what's delaying some of these buses and why they have lesser of these buses on those roads. Definitely it's because maybe they have lesser drivers. They probably have a lot of buses, but they have lesser drivers to just, ply this route. So it's very, very okay to just show appreciation to these drivers. And that for me is a culture shock because back home where we're coming from, how many times you don't tell down for driver thank you? So that's a culture shock for me. So coming to the UK and getting to start, imbibing the practice of looking at the driver and telling the driver thank you. For me again, when I came, I thought it was a law because, in my head, I don't want to have anything with the police. So I thought it was something like it was mandatory to tell the driver thank you. So when I see people just queuing up and saying thank you driver, I was so faithful to it, just walk straight to the driver. Please, like all the cameras in the bus, please look at me. I'm telling the driver thank you now. I don't want trouble. Thank you driver. Just walk and you leave the bus. Enter another bus. Thank you driver. Until I now knew it was just, a show of appreciation to the bus drivers, just to tell them thank you. Before we could also just relax. But even at that, we still want to tell them thank you, just to show them appreciation for what they're doing. Okay, so that's my culture shock number 5. Culture shock number 6. This will be low-key, but for me, it's not low-key. It's very tight. Okay, the auto reset button when you step out of your door. Let me just break it down. How your brain resets to being very lawful, comported, immediately you step out of your door, you're going out. That's a culture shock. Back home, we just live our lives. Whether we are in the office, we're outside, we're in the marketplace, we're in the church, we're in the house, we are just so free. But in the UK, the very minute you step out of your door, there is this resets. I don't know if you guys understand what I mean. There is this reset button that just brings you back to normalcy. Like, guy, you're going out. Like, you start to even feel that in your mind, like, this is not our home. Something like that just hits you and be like, so you need to leave, do whatever you're doing rightly because now you're outside. So there's like a reset button that just kicks you in to doing the right thing. Okay, in your house you can just be free, you play, you shout and do it. I am not saying in your house you're still safe, because if you're in your house, you're playing loud music and your neighbors call the police, you will still face it. So I'm not really talking about that. In your house you are more relaxed, but when you go out, it's not like you're not relaxed outside, but you are more comported. So there's this reset button that brings you back to normalcy when you're outside. You just want to be correct. So for me, that's a culture shock, because back home, the life indoors and life outdoors is just completely the same. Okay, so the last culture shock for me would be this. But before I go into that, I just want to urge you guys to subscribe to my channel. And if you're also new and you're enjoying the content here, please just hit that subscribe button, leave your comment and share our videos. I will be very, very grateful that you did that for us. Okay, good. So the culture shock number 7 would be the UK is devoid of some familiar animals that we are used to. That's a culture shock for me. So these culture shocks are my culture shocks. I don't know about your own culture shock. So please just leave yours in the comment section. Make us understand. Just be very frank. When you came to the UK, what were your culture shocks? And if you're still experiencing some just now, you can also just relate that. So for me, there are a lot of animals, a lot of reptiles, a lot of things that I've not seen in terms of the animal world in the UK. One would be, I've not seen a vulture. I've not seen frogs. Yeah, I've not seen a fowl, chicken running around. I've not seen a goat. I've not seen a queer just running around. I've not. Okay, I've not seen a lizard. These are things that actually just make our culture, because these are things we get to see all the time. Okay, so these are my culture shock. So this actually, goes a long way to just show me that the UK is different. So it's a culture shock for me. Okay, I never used to see flies until we go into summer. So right now, the summer is kind of like very likened to what we used to experience back home in terms of temperature wise. And it's not like there yet, because this summer is fake, very fake summer. You think it's summer, you come out, just chilling. You think it's summer, the next minute the cold just kicks in. The weather completely changes. Just like especially in the northern part of UK, Northern Ireland, and also Scotland. It's very terrible. So this is completely fake. but still very close to what we used to experience back home in terms of our own sun and summer. So we get to see flies now. I never used to see flies. Okay, I never used to see flies. And a cockroach. I don't know where you stay in the UK, but I have never seen cockroach since I came to the UK. These are things you get to see some once in a while, somewhere in your house, in your kitchen. If we want to be frank and very truthful here, you get to see some of that. I've never seen it. I've never seen a roach in the UK. I've not. So there are a lot of animals also we have not seen. And if you want to leave that in the comment section, just to explain to us all of this, we would be very grateful. So for me, these are my 7 culture shocks, and it's been very amazing that I had to pass through all this. And right now, I wouldn't say they are shocks no more because I'm used to it and I've been in the UK for quite a while, which is very amazing. So guys, this will be the end. This is where we'll just wrap up this video, and I'm very, very grateful I could actually make this content. Please, if you like what we're doing, just like I'm pleading, please just subscribe, share our video, like, and just leave a comment so we understand that what we're doing is just dope for you guys, okay? So I'll see you guys next week. One.